My guest today is Abouelsoud from The Mind. Thank you
Mm.
very much for your time, Mo. You came up with the core idea for your company while eating a burrito. Most people would expect ideas for business like this to come up in a lab. What were you reading or thinking about that day and what clicked?
Yeah, so thank you for having me. I was remembering a paper called Temporal Interference. It was a paper that was published from MIT. It was about a way to intersect electric fields inside the brain. And I was eating my burrito at Chipotle, and I saw a vent on the wall. And I imagined that vent as an electrode array on the brain, creating these fields. So that's actually how the company got started, by envisioning electric field therapy, electric field rivers inside the brain. I heard
It's the-
you told me that in Australia, you guys don't have Chipotle?
no, well, unless it's in the city. You've said publicly that this technology that you're building has saved your life, helped with your bipolar disorder. How much of the company's direction's been shaped by your own experience and I guess balancing what you want and what market or investors want out of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I I have a very strong emotion towards building this company because of how much it saved my life. And learning how to transition from being a founder to being a CEO is very critical, because I now have to develop systems of capital allocation, operational procedures to be carry out specific tasks within the company. And I have to learn to let go. I have to actually start learning to do less. When you're a founder, you're in the hustle, hustle, hustle. What more can I do?
Mm.
And if you're in the CEO position, you think more smarter and say, what less can I do? How can I systemize this? And so that, even though I was the founder of the company, I transitioned to being the CEO of the company, transitioned to be someone scaling our organization up. A lot of our investors are very happy with the work that we've been producing. We produce it at a very fast pace, and we produce it at a very low cost. We do
Mhm.
a lot of very highly effective clinical trials that support all of our work. So, and I've learned to deal with investors as another customer, proving that their money is being put into good use.
So you were in your 20s when you started this company and now you're running clinical trials, navigating the FDA, the regulation. I think your team is across 6 countries, is that correct?
Yeah, we have people in South America. We have people in India, Middle East. We have an advisor in Europe, in the UK. A lot of people in India and across the United States. We are a very diverse company, diverse thinking, as well as diverse time zones for our meetings. As
I
well as
could I could imagine you would have had to, convince some serious scientists to back what you're doing and to
Yeah.
come on board. Your team is quite powerful when I look at the credentials of and the experience of the people involved. You know, how did you attract them to what you were doing?
Yeah, so it was more about showing them the science and showing them the data. So as we continue to scale, it was important for me to get validation from people who've done it before, people who've run trials before. So I made it an effort to reach out to medical doctors, physicians, and PhDs in the field to be able to become advisors for our company. But we have a very strong team of individuals that we are very grateful for, guiding all of our operations.
I've followed the development of Neuralink quite closely and been a big fan, and I can see obviously that yours is non-invasive. What sort of decisions were involved there, and what's the benefit of the way that you're approaching the work?
Yeah, so Neuralink is a great company for the public to understand what we're doing. So Neuralink
Mhm.
aims to connect the brain to a computerized system. Use the computer to help to connect the brain to the computer systems. And it has to do it through surgery. And so we aim to do that from the outside of the brain. Now we have a different set of patients. They're targeting more quadriplegic locked-in syndrome, and we are looking at more Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, as well as for cognitive enhancement. It's the
Mm.
same class of technology called neurotechnology or brain technology that we're the umbrella that we sit under. So that's why we say people think of us as a non-invasive Neuralink, as the way to connect the brain and modulate the brain, grow the brain without the surgery. The decisions around that were, I mean, surgery is difficult. Is I mean, at even commercially at scale, getting it through several different regulatory hurdles to be able to surgically implant someone, it has to be a medical need. The common public wouldn't be able to just get this immediately. Very expensive. Also, we have to think of the tune-ups and the upgrades. So what if there's a plant? What if there's a chip upgrade, right? Well, this myriad of problems that can arise from surgery. However, surgery is an excellent solution for certain patients because it's the only way to get them to communicate with the outside world. But for the average citizen, for the average human, you don't need to do surgery initially to be able
Mm.
to experience brain tech.
So am I correct in understanding that what you are building as far as a consumer option is not for sale yet? You're still navigating the regulations on that, but the price
Um,
point you're expecting is about $350, is that right?
Actually, it is for sale. So the
Oh, it is now?
consumer,
Yep.
yeah. So the consumer product. This is actually we're getting a new set of prototypes in the next few days. But the consumer product is available for sale. It's not. It's a much lower powered version than our medical products.
Mm.
And it's the actual physics of the device is very, very different. So it's a lot more user friendly. And so that is used just for wellness applications, balancing neurotransmitter levels, as well as enhancing focus and cognition in athletes. So that's more of our athletic consumer product, but that is available for sale right now on our website.
That's so interesting. I can see applications for that for people, entrepreneurs as well, not just athletes
Oh
or
yeah, we have a lot of biohackers and CEOs and high performing individuals that want to get that next cognitive edge. We wanted to have a price point that is um, accepting for different economics, and it's a good entry into the world of neuromodulation. You know, you want to be able to test out something of high quality from coming from high science, test it out on a budget, and that once the individual understands its usefulness, can upgrade to further technologies. We're actually coming up with a closed loop device coming out in the next few months that will be recording and stimulating at the same time. And so that will be the next level of tech available for the public.
you're doing the serious research and then you've got the direct to consumer. How do you manage, like, they're very different audiences, I would imagine. In marketing, normally we say one target audience, one message, one benefit to keep it simple for people. Do you, does marketing sort of to patients look completely different to marketing the consumer side?
Yes and no. So yes, it has a different set of language. One is oriented towards Parkinson's disease, while one is more for cognitive applications. But also no, because it's under the same class of brain stim technology. So brain stimulation in general. Brain stimulation is not disease specific or person specific. So we have a PR team that we work with that is able to push out our medical tech into the clinical atmosphere, as
Mm.
well as push out consumer applications into the consumer sector. So it really depends upon who's looking at our website. But on our website, we come as a brain stimulation company coming out and developing advanced brain stim and neurotech products.
Mm.
We
Okay.
have other types of neurotechnology products, including in the field of AI image diagnostics that we're working on. So we want to be seen as a holistic brain science company.
It's moving at such a fast pace with the AI too. Imagine the potential of what you're going to be able to do will be massive, even within
Exactly.
6 months. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
AI is growing really fast. Everybody's adopting it. It's becoming the new normal right now, making sure that data integrity is secure is of utmost importance.
you're also doing outreach into the schools. I'm wondering how on earth you find time to do that, and how you
Yeah.
prioritize that.
Yeah, it's really fun actually. You know, we go to elementary schools, middle schools, and high schools. They actually know me as Mohawk Mo. So that's the thing here. Yeah, we sometimes play games like build candy neurons out of candy. We just had a presentation 2 weeks ago at high school. They gave a Shark Tank like competition. Everybody came up with a business idea and gave a Shark Tank pitch, so we had a little competition, so it's really fun. It's really good to engage with the future generation, be able to educate them about, the future of the world.
It's fantastic that you're making the time to do that as well as just, doing the business side of things.
Yeah.
If you were to strip away as far as marketing you, the Mind company, and you could just have one one channel to market it on, which would you stick with? What is the most powerful for you right now?
We want to go into the Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease applications. We have great clinical data. However, it requires a lot of funding to be able to get the pivotal trials. So we are releasing a consumer tech to be able to fund those operations and gain traction in the marketplace. But anybody who sees our site knows that we're a serious medical company and know that we're doing serious business in this field. And so that provides a lot more confidence and validity even to our consumer wellness tech because we have um, very powerful data coming from very powerful people in the field of neuroscience. So the same minds behind our advanced Parkinson's disease tech are the same minds behind the consumer wellness athletic applications. So
Mm,
it's coming from a real knowledgeable place.
it's a really smart angle to come from. I mean, it's the truth, isn't it? As you say, it's the same brain behind it, and it
Yeah.
just spills down so people can, as you say, dip their toe in and start to experience what's possible, and then step up from there as you bring out more possibilities. I love it.
Exactly.
If you clearly understand, the science, but you also, I guess, have to be the salesperson. Do you feel that at all, or is it really just sharing naturally what you're doing? How does that sort of play out?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So when I transitioned to being a CEO, I'm not I'm a scientist still, but I'm now a businessman. I got to sell the product. And,
Yes.
when you're speaking to an audience that doesn't have the same vocabulary as you per se, you have to use different concepts and different ideas and explain it with expressions and emotion, which is very important.
Mm,
I love to sell, and not because I would say I'm a salesman, but because I believe in the product. And so it's
mm.
very easy to sell. It's very easy to tell people like, listen, you got to try this. This is some very powerful stuff. Like this is going to revolutionize everything. So it no, I love to. I love people when they start using the product and they start to like use it after 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 9 weeks, and they start to get that build up in their brain of like cognitive power, cognitive processing speed, and they start to see everything I'm talking about. So they're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, now I know why this guy's like preaching against stimulation." Be like, "Yeah, right." Like now everybody understands. So I'm
It's
glad
difficult.
we're into that same page.
It's easier when you have that genuine mission instead of just trying to sell something to make money. But then also it can be difficult bottling an experience in an ad, so I guess that feedback from people is the strongest approach to help spread the word about what's possible for other people to try it. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. Yeah. The feedback's I think that would just be the gold, and that's where in marketing speak, the ad copy would write itself. You don't have to come up with anything because people are telling you about it and you just use what they say. So yeah.
All right. They're giving us good phrases. So we're like,
Yeah.
but
It's
we
just the
also,
gold.
so we run a lot of neuroimaging studies. So we do have data showing brain activation changes before and after stimulation.
Mhm.
So it's just bottling up something invisible, which was true initially, but not now. Ever since we have clinical data,
If you lead with the story so people can get an idea of, the possibility, the experience, the amazing things that happen in their brain, and then back it up with the data because we like that other side of our brain likes the logical. Here I am talking to a neuroscientist.
yeah, yeah, you're right. This is exactly right.
Yeah, entertain first and then justify it or prove it with the logic, I guess, so that we feel good about
Yeah,
it.
we must speak to the emotions of people first.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So we have to communicate it with an emotional concept.
It's very interesting to me that the tools and the AI and, lightning speed, everything changes. But those sorts of fundamentals of the way that we receive information or the way we're convinced of a new idea, they don't change at all, and just
Yeah.
can be applied anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to make advanced neurological care accessible to underserved populations globally. I love the mission. It's a big one. You've already started and made inroads there. Tell me about that.
Yes, there is a need globally to provide advanced medical tech, not just in the neurological field. And being able to do this through our commercialization actually allows us to do two things. Number one, we help patients in need. But number two, be able to develop healthcare infrastructures and systems to use to grow our tech to ultimately help people. So when we partner with hospitals internationally and clinics internationally, we don't look at them as an isolated unit where we must sell a device. No, we want to understand your problems. We understand what resources are limited in your clinic, in your community. We want to understand what you want your clinic to be in the next 5 to 10 years. If we want to implement new EHR systems, if we want to bring in certain types of supplement or protocols into the clinic to be able to speed up operations or provide new treatments for the patients. So we want to see you as a holistic organization that we grow with over the next 5 to 10 years. So we never really see anybody we connect with as a like a one-off. We see them as, okay, how do we develop this relationship further? Okay, what else can we do for you to achieve your dreams?
So, non invasive brain stimulation could attract a lot of nefarious characters. Or
Yeah,
people could worry about that side of things, people making claims with cheap devices. How do you approach
hmm
that side of the industry, or is it a thing, or doesn't it matter?
No, it is a thing. You want to make sure that you're getting technology from a credible source. You want to be able to look at the science and understand the science. You want to be able to see backing from advisors and clinicians, as well as individuals with influence who understand what they're talking about. And so that's what we are developing in our organization. We're developing out all the advisory board, all the clinicians, all the clinical trial data, actually explaining the science of different products on the market. There are products on the market that look very sexy,
Mhm.
very sleek, but the science is like decades old. And so
Mhm.
it's very interesting because a lot of people don't understand. They don't understand how they're moving their money. They look at them. They look at the product. It looks great, so they think it works well as well.
Mm.
You know, it's not always the case. So
Mm.
just
Mm.
be careful. Look into the science.
Yeah.
Understand it's what it does to your brain.
I don't know if you have it on your site. I haven't checked that deeply. But when I think of how software companies will have articles showing the difference between them and another brand very specifically, and it might seem too head to head, but that could be, I think, a useful thing on your site. Uh, for anyone searching brand names that might be shonky, that way the
Yeah,
keyword might
exactly.
come up and they might find a better option.
Yeah, brain stimulation. You also,
Mm.
so that's why we made our entry fee actually lower than our competitors. Our main competitor, I don't know if I can say their name. Can I say their name? Do you think?
I don't mind. I'm all up for being specific.
Yeah, so it's called Mave TDCS. Mave TDCS. It's a new company that just raised 2 million from San Fran. Their science, their direct current stimulation science, is very outdated. It's like
Mm.
decades. It's coming from prominent researchers. However, they they didn't push on the science for the public, and so it's not going to actually change the brain as much as people think. And they're pricing their product at $500. So not
Mm.
only is our science superior, but also we are charging it at around 70%, 350 USD.
Mm. Mm. It's good to know. I think it's important. I mean, you don't want to mess with your brain and pick up the wrong thing. It's kind of a big decision.
Yeah. If you're going to spend money, spend it on something productive. Yeah.
Yes. I've got a few just rapid fire questions just to wrap up. So, just straight off the top of your head, um, best piece of business advice that you've ever ignored?
It'll be harder than you think.
Uh,
It'll take longer than you think too. I ignored it because I thought to myself, nah,
Yes.
You gotta do quick and easy. But I'm glad I ignored it because if I didn't, I would have quit years ago.
It's actually true, isn't it? Sometimes it's best if you don't know what you're getting into. I've had a few businesses
Exactly.
where that have done well, and I'm glad I didn't know at the start. Yeah. So, your Chipotle order, has it changed since the burrito that started it all?
Man, no, I get the same. I get less rice now. Sometimes I get lettuce, but I've been carving up recently because I've been jogging more. So actually, no, I do a burrito bowl
Yeah.
and not a burrito, so I can get more food because I eat a
Ah,
lot of food. So
yes.
they have like, the food in the bowl is like 25% more, and so you
I
make
think
your own burritos with that.
think I need a
I,
reconnaissance trip to the States so I can go and try it.
no, and I have optimized the Chipotle routine.
I'm sure you have. Optimizing is in your DNA. Um, one book every founder should read that you don't see people recommending.
I just read this book called Scythe. It's a fiction book,
Yeah.
and it talks about what happens when AI takes over the world and makes a utopia. And
Oh.
now everybody's problems are solved.
Mhm.
So now we have a new problem is that nobody has purpose anymore.
Might be timely. If the Mind Company didn't exist, what would you be building instead?
The problem is my specialization in knowledge is in electric field physics for the brain. And it's
Mhm.
so specific. I don't have any other job. I guess I would be getting a PhD. Like I don't have any other job options. Like, I have a very specialized set of knowledge in this field. I would probably have to build this company. It's the only thing I know how to do well.
You've been
So,
purpose-built to build the Mind Company.
that's the only set of, like, knowledge. My knowledge base is based on all of this stuff.
Yeah. All right. We'll finish this sentence. In 5 years, brain stimulation will be as normal as
Nootropics. Nootropic
ah,
supplement. It'll be
like
normal as your vitamins, as your daily vitamin.
yeah, yeah. That's very cool. I'm so interested. I'm definitely going to be following your work and maybe asking for a device for Christmas.
Yeah, we'll
Try it.
talk about it.